do some sketchy shit. Do-da, do-da, hope I get away with it. Oh, da do-da day.
Hey everybody, welcome to Stupid O'Clock. Bring everybody up to a bigger screen. Hey Joe.
Oh Lord, why you kept messaging? I figured it was only you and me in the show.
Yeah.
He's just greedy. Plus, he wants reinforcements against Kiri's puns.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize we're just gonna leave and let the two of them have the show together.
That or Joe just wants an audience for his puns.
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
I had a good one, but dang if I didn't forget it.
Thank God.
So I went to back out of my driveway tonight, but in my rearview mirror, I saw a magician blocking my path. Got out of the car to move, and he wasn't there. He must have been an optical illusion.
You still have mirrors?
Well, shit, Joe just completely left.
There's only so much he can take.
And
there's Chris in the chat.
Yeah, I love some of these new cars, and the backup camera I don't like. You know, all I see is some guy getting run over by a car, and the suspension. Like the old surround sound. Do you feel a bump? And the sound system, you here's a good screen.
Now, I will say one thing for my pickup truck's backup camera.
Speak up, John.
Oh, my pickup truck's backup camera has the neat little thing with it's got the extra lines. Mm-hmm. When you turn your steering wheel, it tells you which direction you're going to go.
Exactly.
So if you're like backing up a trailer, if you're backing up a trailer,
if you're going to miss something, and thanks to the other lines, you know how close you can get before you actually hit something. But I missed the backup camera in my van because I didn't have it wired up to the backup lights to supply the power. I could just flip a switch and it would be on all the time. And it totally eliminated all the blind spots in the mirrors. I just flip it on driving down the highway going forward and tell when some idiot was trying to pass me.
That is one thing I wish that I could do with the backup camera on my truck. Instead of having the touch screen with all the radio stuff and everything on it, hit a button and it does the video of the backup camera and use it as a rearview mirror.
That's what I did.
It works really well. Yeah.
Yeah, my truck's got a constant rearview mirror. Of course, it might need to clean it because it's sort of blurry now. Everything's blurry.
Yeah, that is the one thing. The one on the pickup truck it's up by the handle for lowering the tailgate on the pickup truck. And every time it rains, it gets water on it. So it's not hidden very well.
It doesn't matter. The one on the van was above the license plate and just below the overhang for the tailgate handle.
Now there
The
is one
latch.
thing. There is one thing that's kind of weird. My brother has a 2003 Toyota Tacoma. I've got the 2024. Or sorry, he's got the 2023. I've got the 2024. Okay. And the latches on the tailgates are back asswards. On his, the camera's on the right side. On mine, the camera's on the left side.
Yeah, but the difference is only what, a couple of inches?
About 4 inches. But if you think about it, Toyota had to come out with a whole new line of handles and latches and locks and cameras and wiring harness just because they wanted to put the camera on the other side.
I got these about a month ago, and I have to take the van and the pickup truck to the car wash before I can actually put them on. And I don't know whether or not my camera will show you these forward or reversed, but let's give it a shot.
Old man edition. I need to get a couple of those.
I thought it was perfect for my truck, and then I go, wait a minute, the van's even older. Did I hear another ping? Did somebody come in after Joe?
No, you just heard me cutting the mic on and off while I sneezed.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said,
Diane Keaton has died.
oh,
What?
Yeah, it's
Hell,
why
she
are
was
all
that-
these children dying when I'm still here?
well, she was 79. So
Oh, okay.
That
That
even
makes a
surprises me.
I never thought of her as being that old. I thought she was younger than me.
well, let me think. I remember her from Reds with Warren Beatty.
Mm.
And
Mr. Mom.
let me see. Well, I remember that was the first thing I ever saw her in that I can distinctly remember was Reds. Let me see. Let me see. She started acting in 1970.
Okay.
She was on the TV series Love American Style.
I was still in high school at the time.
Yeah, who wasn't on Love American Style? Let's see. She was in The Godfather, of course. Let's see. She was in a lot of Woody Allen stuff.
Yeah.
See, Manhattan.
Well, the good news is Joe Dog's not here, so we can say anything we want.
Really?
I'm here. I'm just I'm having a sinus attack.
Yeah, I had 3 days of waking up without a runny nose, and then today the temperature dropped dramatically, and here I am reaching for the Kleenexes again.
You know, you've got that fake green screen, Dan, but it doesn't like your cigarette.
Oh, it doesn't like any time that I move or, it's fine. I could go back to the actual green screen. I mean, I've still got the curtains up, but it doesn't like me moving around either.
Yeah, neither does Joe. He went to stretch and just disappeared. Oh,
The cameras are set for us to be. I hate to reuse a word, but set distance. And if we get beyond that, we vanish. And if we get too close, the camera has to refocus again, which is annoying. But, modern life, first world
yeah,
problem.
and that lady didn't approve of it either.
What? All right.
Well, she shouldn't have had them on her. Never mind.
What did you do, Joe Dog?
Nothing.
Right.
Evidently, we now know better.
You did something, Joe Dog.
Saw a few absolutely gorgeous cosplayers today.
Oh. Okay, that explains a lot. Oh, here's Zach. Maybe there's going to be some sanity in the show after all.
Hello.
Zach.
I thought you was headed out of country.
In 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
26.
You didn't specify which country.
He's crossing the border twice.
Both ways.
Oh, going to Mexico. Okay.
You have to enter the U.S. first and then come back into the U.S. through the Mexico border. That's going to be fun. Going down's easy. Coming back, I'm curious how that's going to work. Going down's easy. There's a medical lane. You tell Mexico you're getting something cut out, they're like, come on in.
I'm here to see doctors and give you Canadian dollars. And they go, okay.
They legitimately have at least one lane always dedicated to medical now.
Oh, good. That's
just because there's that much business going into Tijuana now. I think there's 9 or 10 bariatric hospitals all in Tijuana within 5 minutes of the border now.
Do they have a special lane dedicated to just going to visit a bar?
No, sadly not.
Oh, God.
No, they have 8 lanes dedicated to going down to Tijuana to visit bars.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's called the bus tours.
Now, see, that would actually be kind of cool if you had a bus tour going to a bar. You would not have to drive.
Until you get dropped off of the bus back in the U.S.
Well, hey, I got a question.
What if you missed the bus?
The way they're getting now, if you go down to Tijuana and get drunk and try to come back across the border drunk, do they try to get you for trying to import alcohol?
Don't try it while you're bleeding, Joe Dog.
Do what?
Don't try it while you're bleeding. Which I realize is kind of hard to do coming back from Mexico from some particular places. You're not Lee Van Cleef. You can't pull this off with a straight face.
10, Chris.
What are y'all doing tomorrow?
There's a little spooky market or whatever at Camp Jordan tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna go covert promotion.
That's interesting.
You know, we really need to paint your moving van.
Trust me. I looked into putting the Halicon logos and all that on the side of it.
Yeah.
As soon as I do, it becomes a commercial vehicle. Meaning you have to have a Class B CDL.
So
In
just
other
get
words, it
magnets.
costs more than $1.
So just get big magnets.
Kind of hard to get
No,
magnets.
that works too.
Yeah.
Wait, say that one more time, Good Dog.
Do what?
How big is this vehicle?
It's
a
a 16
medium-sized
foot.
moving van.
It's a 16 footer.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. If I did it on a pickup truck, it would still be considered a commercial vehicle.
Oh, thank God
Yeah,
I
but
never
that
got
wouldn't
around to
require
buying
Class
those
B.
signs for Lindsay's table at Helicon to put on the van.
No, they are getting crazy. The
Solution.
the
You make a
DOT.
sign the size of the window. Do you have little hooks or handles or ocean handles? You just hook them. I'm just transporting my signage. It just happens to hang by the windows off these hooks, perfectly sized to each window.
No, I saw going down today. One of the hot shotters pulled over the side of the road with cars. Trailer was overweight. Pickup truck and a 3-car car hauler.
And if it's overweight, that's understandable, but
Yeah, but I think the point is they lowered the weight that it can be over until they can pull people over and write them a ticket for just about anything.
Yeah. And when they pull them over, Joe, you've heard about the English proficiency test, the Connors Law. They're getting hot shotters on Connors Law now.
Okay, you're going to have to enlighten me about this English proficiency test because I know people that are native born that can't pass something like that.
They pull you over, they hand you a card, and they say, "Can you read this?" Well, yeah. Well, read it to me. And you have to read the card back to them. Then they give you a test for a picture. All right, point to me what each one of these are. And then they tell you what sign to look for, and you point to it. Then they say, okay, here, pencil and piece of paper. We need you to write what I say. Fail any one of those, they pull you from the road right there.
Under the suspicion of being a brown person or what?
Yeah. Well, mainly under the suspicion that there are people driving that can't even read English, that have American CDLs.
Ticket mongering.
Well,
the Juro spiders have got to my anemometer again. I'm still getting the wind direction, but not the wind speed. Why is that?
No, you heard about the latest with the truck driver trying to do a U-turn in the middle of the Florida Turnpike?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Couldn't even speak English.
And
Had and had a valid Oregon CDL.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, now I know where the laws are really loose.
Many of them have been California.
Oh well, that's
Not
understandable.
surprising.
And Joe, you've been out on the road. Some of these truckers are crazy.
Oh yeah.
Some. You ever been on 285 and been passed by an 18-wheeler?
I'd rather pass an 18-wheeler than 3 cars with Georgia tags on them.
Try getting passed by like hundreds of them. Well, not hundreds, but maybe a couple dozens of them on 285 for about 2 hours.
Well, Kiri, you're not supposed to run 45 on 285 either.
No. In Atlanta, the highway name is the speed limit.
Well, that wasn't what the other drivers were saying. Last month going to Atlanta, they just stood there all over to north side of the perimeter.
Well, you heard about the nuns that got pulled over out in California for just barely rolling down the road. Police pulled them over. The 3 nuns in the back seat are just sitting there shaking. And he says, you know, you're blocking traffic. You're driving so slow. Well, I'm just doing what the sign says. Interstate 1. He goes, no, that's the road. And then notices the 3 sisters in the back seat and goes, sisters, what's wrong? We just got off the 310.
That gives a whole new meaning to 20 and 10 going in opposite directions in the South. No, I got lucky when I took that long motorcycle trip out to Dallas and then down to Daytona. Both legs of the trip, I got behind what I really hoped was a cute girl. She looked like that through the rear windshield, but I couldn't. I never tried to pass her or anything. But she had a radar detector in her front windshield, and I could see the lights on it. So when she put her foot down, I went ahead and turned the handle on the motorcycle just a little bit further to keep up with her, and I think I turned a 12-hour trip into a 8-hour trip. Thankfully, she was going to the same place as I was, and the one on 10 from Dallas to Daytona. My God, it was a different Corvette, different color. I could have sworn it was the same pretty girl driving it, though. I think I hit Mach 4.
I don't know who passed me today, but somebody, and I mean a somebody, passed me on that. Joe, headed down to Dalton right before you get to the exit, that nice long straightaway.
Yeah.
I was rolling about 90, and GPS says there's police presence ahead. So I rolled her over into the center lane, backed her down to about 75. 5 black Suburbans passed me.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
No tags on any of them. When they had to be doing over 100 when they passed me. Like I was parked. Georgia State Patrol never even moved when they went by.
Mhm.
So that had to be somebody.
Or some alphabet agency.
That was the one thing I thought. Some alphabet agency in Dalton or heading down to Atlanta to do something
It's
sketchy.
hey, they never even hit the brakes when they went past Georgia State Patrol. It was like he looks down, sees them, he looks way up this way, they go by and he does this. Like I didn't see nothing.
Nope. At times like that, it's the occasion you need to perform your best, Sergeant Schultz.
I know nothing. And Georgia State Patrol from the Georgia line all the way to Cartersville. They were everywhere.
I'm starting to wonder whether or not we had some escaped prisoners out today, because we had all kinds of county police cars, the sheriff's deputies and the county mounties, all this stuff with the lights going. And I heard the weirdest siren that I have ever heard go by the house today. And it didn't even register on my security camera pointing out towards the road. I mean, just a blur. But it was a siren I have never heard before. It's not a standard police siren. It's not a standard ambulance siren. It's not a standard fire siren. It was weird.
Did it have kind of like a warbling sound to it?
No, it was like half of a normal police siren.
Did it have a low rumble?
Oh Lord, it had a very loud rumble.
Okay, that's kind of what I was talking about. We have those up here, and you ever get in front of, if you ever have one of them behind you, or if they're coming towards you, and they activate that thing, it's going to scare the shit out of you the first time. What it's meant to do, it sends out the sound wave, kind of rattles your car, almost like your bass just, the shot through the roof. But it's made to grab the attention of the vehicles around them.
Yeah. It's basically the get out of the way siren.
Yes.
Yeah.
What it sounded most like was those old movies about submarines where you get this klaxon going on?
John, what do you got going there?
This is a Bitcoin mine in Mongolia, and they couldn't figure out why they were having problems with this Bitcoin mining. So they went up there to where they had the Bitcoin mine set up, check it out, and because the idea was they put it in this place in Mongolia that's really cold, so you wouldn't have to cool off all these computer CPUs or GPUs that run in the Bitcoin mine. Well, it turns out all the local cats from town got into this tunnel where they had the GPU set up, and each one of them had claimed a spot on top of the GPUs to stay warm.
That sounds,
As cats do.
that sounds very cattish.
That's a cat being a cat.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Somebody's blowing up my cell phone.
Uh-oh.
One of them's Josh.
So Zach, what are we doing with rockets today?
We stacked a big metal one on top of another big metal one for the last time, hopefully.
Okay. Well, let's be a bit more specific. What kind of big metal? I mean, it's
So that
It
the
was shiny
starship on
metal,
top-
John.
okay. So it's the last of the old style
the
starships.
last of the V2s and the last from Pad A. Rip Pad A. I really
Literally.
hope they call the next one Pad C because really it's not going to be Pad A, but they're going to call it Pad A again.
Yeah. And literally rip because they're gonna rip the damn thing out of the ground.
Yeah, there's going to be nothing of the pad left. The tower will still be there, but the pad won't be.
So now that's the pad that they built in a hurry after they about blew you up. As
Yeah.
if I
Yeah,
remember. And they had to rebuild the entire pad
that's
area.
the one that they've jerry-rigged for the last 11 flights.
Okay.
They'll build the same that they're building at Pad 2 and the pad in Florida. They'll now build at Pad A, which is a more traditional,
Launch
actually
pad.
very Russian-looking launch pad.
Well, I will say one thing for the Russian pad, it had a big flame trench.
Well, the Russians know how to do it. You find a big valley and you just put the pad on the cliff. You don't have to build it. The valley's
course-
already there. Just make
Of course,
sure you
now,
really
if you're like me and you grew up watching Wile E. Coyote launch Acme rockets all over the desert, that setup just yelled, Roadrunner chasing rocket.
Well, it in some of the old Soyuz, didn't you have to light them with a flare?
I wouldn't be surprised. Sounds Russian.
He just reminded me of a science fiction story where there was a nuclear bomb self-destruct mechanism that the person who decided to initiate it had to stand there and fire a flare into it. I mean, at the bomb, which is, not a very survivable position to be in.
Oh, they had to do a Bruce Willis Armageddon.
Uh-huh. But you like Jonathan Livingston Seagull, you had to be there.
So, okay. What have you heard about Dream Chaser? What's up with Dream Chaser right now?
Oh, Dream Chaser.
It was a wonderful idea that never happened.
It was a wonderful idea that was fully built, manufactured, tested, taken to Kennedy, put into a vertical orientation to be put in a fairing, and then NASA went, nah. And NASA's not going to use Dream Chaser anymore. It was ready to fly. It was supposedly, it was there like a year ago and was supposed to fly in like February and then needed more checkouts. And then it's needed more checkouts all summer. And now NASA's like, yeah, we're good. So we'll see Dream Chaser one day.
It will be a private going to the private station.
Exactly. It'll switch to fully private missions. If they could try to find somebody rich to invest in them, maybe they could try to start doing a crew variant. I think that's where they'd have a lot of hopefully success to the private stations is being a competitor because Starliner's not getting off the ground. And unless you've got Dragon, you got no other way to get to these private stations because it's Dragon, Starliner, and Dream Chaser crew. So we'll see. Sierra Space has a Really interesting way of not dying when all their funding is taken away from them. They should have been dead like 15 years ago, but
So what's happened with the Blue Falcon or Blue Origin?
their New Glenn
cartoon character, John.
New Glenn is in the hangar at the pad doing final integrations before rollout for vertical. Rumors are second week of November for its second flight. And this booster is called. What is this booster called? Do you remember, John or Joe?
Maybe it'll work.
That'll be number 3.
It's called Amazon Prime.
And booster. Let me find it, because the first one was called So You're Telling Me There's a Chance. The second one, of course, everyone's posting every picture. Never Tell Me the Odds.
Kiri, wake up and go to bed.
Wake up and go to sleep.
It's time for your sleeping pill. Go to
Wake up and go to
the
sleep.
sleeping pill's already kicking in, Dan.
No, I mean,
Very
seriously.
good Dan impression.
Very, but he doesn't have a bald spot to show off.
Zach, have you heard any news on the Skylon system? Because I'm pretty
the
sure.
only person I've ever heard talk about it is you.
Well, supposedly they're not too interested in the orbiter design, but they're really interested in the engines, the Sabre engines.
Yeah.
And the what?
The Sabre engines.
What's the name of the rocket?
Skylon was the original name,
Yeah.
but I don't know what they're calling it now. But
There isn't the one now.
But the engine is a cross between a air-breathing jet engine and a rocket engine. And it looks a lot like the SR-71 engines because it's got the cone in the front that goes out to block the airflow to turn it into a rocket engine and so on and so forth.
The last thing we had was a program was hoping to do a Mach 5 space plane with it. That was this summer that they were targeting by 2031. So... But that's all privatized, and that was before the UK government decided to go, "What space?" and blow up their entire space industry. So, yeah, the UK Space Agency doesn't exist anymore. It was
why?
Absorbed.
They
report
need knives to help build spaceships, and UK won't allow knives anywhere anymore.
I don't know. I don't know. It's sad. I know people that work there. They had a lot of big plans. I think the hard thing is, not everything, but a lot of what the UK Space Agency was doing was in partnerships with ESA. So, like, I was at I don't even know whose building it was. I'm pretty sure it was ESA's building, but it was ESA's building, but the UK Space Agency was hosting an event in ESA's building because they still hadn't built their new facility. And they literally just opened it less than a year ago, this brand new state-of-the-art headquarters for the UK Space Agency in Harwell, just south of Oxford in England. Apparently a fantastic facility, and it was right there in the epicenter of where a lot of this new tech was coming. But now apparently they're in a closet in some transport administration something. Canada has a bigger space agency than they do. Yet, I think they've launched more astronauts than we have. So, government ones, at least. So, we'll see.
Last thing I heard, there was supposed to be a facility in Scotland being constructed.
Yeah, there's some big launch facility up there they're working on.
Saxiford's built on the not the Faroe Islands, the North Shetland Islands. Basically, the way Saxiford has been designed is they will build the infrastructure of the facility, and then the pads get leased out, and they're just flat concrete pads. So if you want to build a pad, you have to get a lease, and then you can build whatever you want on the concrete pad. In their plan is to have at least 3 pads. So they have launch site Elizabeth, launch site. I'm trying to remember what the second one is. And then there's a third site that's a little bit further out on like a peninsula jetty thing. That would be for UK companies or for US companies because it's the furthest one from out and it's on that little island. They can ITAR restrict it without having to ITAR restrict their entire facility. In case someone like Rocket Lab or something wanted to do it.
So it's the ostracized launch pad.
I mean, it's a couple 100 feet from the other one, but yeah.
You know it's bad when Scotland has red-headed stepchildren.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing is, Orbex, maybe one day they'll launch a model rocket rather than just put lights and do a fake static fire. That's one of the rocket companies in the UK. RFA blew up their first booster on the pad last year. They're probably not getting back out onto the pad till next year. And then Skyroar, the third company in the UK, launched from Iceland like 5 years ago. Their mini model to prove their big model or their big ship or big rocket. And they built a second one because they wanted to do another demo flight. And the UK Space Agency said, well, just launch it from the UK, from Saxiford. We'll give you a launch license. And they said, okay. They waited. And then, we'll get it to you in 6 months. We'll get another 6 months. They finally got their launch license about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now, to be allowed to launch their little rocket, not their big rocket, which is what all the news reported. Their little rocket that they launched in Iceland 5 years ago is finally now allowed to be launched in the UK. So they called up Saxiford and said, hi, we'd like to book a rocket launch, please. All of our stuff shows up on the back of a semi. We don't need any infrastructure. We're basically fully self-sufficient. We'll be off the pad within so many days. Blah, 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 blah. Super easy. Basically, you could launch this thing from a parking lot. Saxiford's response is, hi, we're really busy. We can't book you in until maybe next summer, 2026. Meanwhile, all of us go, busy doing what? Having goats? Because they haven't launched ever. RFA is still in Germany, and there's nothing else happening there. So apparently they're busy doing something that they don't actually want to launch a rocket. So
it's aliens.
Bro, well, that Saxiford wasn't built as a launch site. Like, that's not its first entity. It was a radar station. And this couple bought it like 2 decades ago. And when the space stuff started picking up, they were like, ooh, this could be a smart idea. And then they've expanded it to be now Saxiford Spaceport. So the other issue is these really big rockets like RFAs and stuff. It's very hard to get those up there. So like one of the questions is, are they going to have to build a port eventually if they're going to want rapid turnaround to just bring the ship right up to the launch site? Because right now they're bringing it to the main port where they have ferries to the mainland over the North Sea. And then you have to take 2 little ferries, and it's like a 14-hour drive from the ferry terminal with 2 ferries that operate like twice a day.
No, it doesn't sound efficient.
No.
There was an old...
Of course not. It's British.
Hey.
There was an old RAM Air Force base that got converted over, and this was back in the 80s, got converted as a Pershing II missile launch shot, which lasted about a year because they didn't actually do the Pershing missiles in Britain. But they've got all the infrastructure for it at this base. So basically, it is a launch site for small rockets. And the Pershing was a medium-sized intercontinental ballistic missile. So I've always wondered whatever happened. Supposedly, one of the things they were talking about with that facility was private rocket launches. I never heard anything about that. I can't even remember.
Whatever happened to the one that had like a centrifuge with
Uh,
pipe
they're-
coming out the
Pin
top?
launch.
They are, believe it or not, still working on it. They are working on their scaled up vehicle and spin thing, but they are more confident that their thing will work on the moon and not Earth. They suddenly realize that when you experience 85,000 Gs at launch, that like nothing will survive. But if you do it on the moon, that's different. Apparently,
Well, yeah.
I believe I've read that book.
yeah.
The Elon says it's a beautiful idea for mining the moon.
Yeah.
You can pretty much just throw your payload up there, and then whatever you've got in orbit grabs it and brings it to Earth.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
we'll see.
reduced gravity is good for that kind of thing.
The
Atmosphere.
biggest space news that came out that's SpaceX related, that I just thought about because it literally came out right before I jumped on, is SpaceX is now officially selling missions to the moon and Mars on Starship at $100 million per metric ton.
Wow.
That's a little steep.
Moon mission starting 2028, Mars mission starting 2030.
And once they get Starship lined up, the price will come down.
It'll be like Falcon. Falcon's now like, I don't even know what the number would be, but maybe 20%, 30% of what it started as.
I think Falcons are like $60 million now.
Yeah, Falcons are like kind of ridiculously cheap now in the grand scheme of rocketry.
Yes.
But if I try to screen share this, let's see if it'll work.
I was watching something yesterday about Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines.
Yeah.
The one that went off in the late 80s, early 90s.
Pinatubo?
Yeah, Pinatubo. And one of the geologists came running out of the building, the seismology building or whatever. He come out, rest of them come running out. The general goes, "Where are y'all going?" And the guy told him, says, "I hope you got some jam in your pocket because you're about to be toast." 20 minutes later, it popped.
Mm.
So, they've got prediction of volcanic eruptions down to, 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes, though, doesn't give me enough time to do anything.
Get the hell out of Dodge.
You can start running, but you ain't getting far.
Let's see, will this work now? Share. I was updating this computer, so I'm not sure. If it's going to be right, it's going to be this screen. But I don't... Why did that switch? I want it on that. Nope, that's not what I want you to see. Share this tab instead. Is that... There we go. I updated my Mac software. So these are the newest renders we have of what the crew and the cargo variants of the moon want to look like. If you're really rich and have $100 million per ton, there's the email. If you're that rich and you're watching this, call me. But this is the moon version, and this is the Mars version. And what everyone looks at is we're getting Falcon legs on Starship. They're going to be cute. But we'll see. See if it works. They only just figured out how to do a little Pez dispenser door, so I'm interested to see how well these big doors work the first time.
They only have to work once.
Well, they're supposed to open and close. They're supposed to be like a garage.
You can tell that Elon was never a fan of Fireball XL5.
But we'll see. We're getting closer.
Yeah, well, I mean, There's no reason this can't work. You've just got to throw buckets of money at it.
Isn't Starship supposed to be downsized for the lunar lander?
No. A YouTuber wanted that to happen.
Do
But
what?
a specific YouTuber wanted that to happen, but no,
Oh.
that's not what SpaceX is going to do. There's a theory that, like, I don't have a thing, but if you think this is all of the ship, huh?
No.
If you could cut out this much of Starship, you're removing all the fuel tanks. So the idea is put in like a 5% size fuel tank, remove the rest, and then build like a fuel tanker that's separate that it can jettison. And then you have like a little hopper, which is only a third of the height, half of the height,
Yeah.
which might be safer on the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
Just because Mars, the height's probably less of an issue than it is on the moon. I think one of the questions is, are these feet going to have like optional drills that they can like drill in?
You know, the problem I see with it, the landing feet are right at the bottom.
Yep.
They're hinged at the bottom. They pop out from the bottom, and they don't pop out very far.
No.
If they ran the legs down the side, and they had 3 legs, and they started about at the halfway point on the fuselage, like,
yeah,
if we're it, right in this area, and you had some longer landing legs like this that would pop out like that, and
you
still
lose
be
too much weight's the issue.
It is more weight, but you're talking about a much better lander and much
A more stable landing.
More stability, yes.
I think that's the part everyone's torn on is SpaceX will get it there. SpaceX will get one of these on the moon by the end of the decade. No question. Does it fall over?
Yeah.
That's the question.
That's the thing. It's given the state of what we have witnessed since the 50s.
Yep.
It's What are you doing?
Did you play the wrong one?
No, Kiri.
That's the state of things from the 50s right there.
No, Kiri drifted off to sleep. That played in his eyes popped wide open like, what? Oh, shit. I missed the end of it. What's wrong, Zach?
It's just you being funny.
Attempting to be funny. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
But
sounds like it.
we'll see what happens.
you know, the elevator idea, I'm not too hip on that one either because of how far down it's got to go. And that's why I think they need longer landing legs, period. You know, especially for the one with the elevator.
Can I have a crazy idea? Why don't we just put the fuel on top?
You
Just
know, that is not a bad idea.
flip it?
'Cause isn't that
Or
what they did with the lunar
Or
the
split
lunar lander,
difference?
the LM?
Split the difference, put one fuel and the other fuel. We have to have a transfer tube nonetheless. I'm sure there's a reason that like it's better to keep the fuel closer to the engines. It's easier for spin up and whatever. But
Less
like,
plumbing, yeah. That's and
I
the,
feel
well,
like there's
the
got
other
to
thing is,
be a way.
Well, the problem is the transfer tube running right through the habitat might get a little chilly.
that and you're putting more weight on top, so you're making it top heavy.
Yeah, you're making it more top heavy. That's true. But the thing is, this isn't going to have much fuel left by the time it gets to the moon. Like HLS can't come back to Earth by itself.
Could it get off the moon?
It can get off the moon, but only to Gateway. If we ever build Gateway.
I had this idea a long time ago. They needed to build a ferry. And if you've ever watched The Martian, they had the one ship that would go back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the thing is, it would go to Mars orbit, and once they were done with the mission, then it would come back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why didn't you just have several of them that are constantly going to Mars, dropping off the stuff, and coming back? They don't actually stop to orbit Mars. They just slingshot around it, head back to Earth. And it's what 18 months to 3 years to Mars, depending on where Mars and Earth are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you could constantly have one arriving at Mars every 6 months, and they wouldn't even have to be manned.
That's Buzz Aldrin's plan.
Yeah.
They could be raw. It could just literally be a shipping container that you put into that orbit, and basically whatever you're sending hooks up with it, drops off at Mars, and then whatever's at Mars needs to get home, goes up, docks, and follows it along.
There were speculations about doing that with just an asteroid.
Exactly.
Just, not even a ship, just something that already makes the trip.
Just put it in the right orbit, and there you go.
Yeah.
The other thing I wondered, is Elon ever going to start doing the global positioning system on Mars? They're supposed to be doing one on the moon. They're supposed to be doing one on Mars.
Ish. So there's Moonlink and Marslink, which are rumored. They've popped up in NASA paperwork, but Elon and SpaceX have yet to want to actually confirm them.
Because those
first thing they want to do is make sure Starship can get up there.
Well, the thing is, if you put Starlink around the moon and around Mars, it'll work better because there's less gravity to deal with and less atmosphere to deal with. 2, if it acts like a global positioning system, you can land your rockets much more accurately.
Yeah.
Here on Earth, those things are accurate within 4 meters, which is roughly my bedroom. Okay. If you can land a rocket at my bedroom, you're doing pretty good.
I wouldn't want to try, but you keep blowing stuff up, somebody's going to want to sooner or later.
But my idea for going to Mars, and I drew this up a while back, was you send a rocket to Mars, and you send one every month, which of course sounds like something SpaceX could do. But you send one every month, and it is a combination. It's a GPS satellite that has, like Starlink, they can talk to each other and send data back to Earth, and all your astronauts can have satellite phones in their helmets and stuff like that. And they also act as a global positioning system. The way I figured it, and I might have the math wrong, but you need about 12 of them, 6 in a northern orbit and 6 in a southern orbit, just up high enough where they can all talk to each other. And then whichever one's closest to Earth becomes the master satellite until it orbits out of the way. And then the next one becomes the master satellite, and all the rest of them slave into that one. And that's the one that keeps sending data to Earth. And of course, they can all talk to each other on Mars too. But then 2, it has a supply pod built onto it that's got, long-term consumables. Throws, long-term water packets, ration packets, toilet paper, whatever they're going to need on the moon for the long term, or the Mars for the long term. And then the last bit is the rocket motor that gets it there and the fuel tanks. And they put a bigger fuel tank than what it needs to get to Mars. And the reason is, once it gets there, you can refuel off of it. Or if they ever start making fuel on Mars, you can run a ship up there and refuel the darn thing and store the fuel in orbit so that all your orbital stuff can refuel.
That's
having to land.
Several excellent ideas, John. Until somebody figures out a way to steal money from the project, it's not going to happen.
I'm still working on the nuclear bulldozers, though.
Blue Origin did reveal their Mars telecommunications orbiter only a couple of weeks ago. It runs off the idea of a relay system, but I can't remember how many they said they would. I don't believe they said that they would have a constellation of them, but someone else talked about it, and that there was rumors that they were going to do like 3 or 6 or something.
Yeah, they need to have a small constellation. Depending on where, I initially said 12, which would be 6 in the north, 6 in the south, but you may actually wind up with like 36 or something like that. And
Yeah,
half in the north, half in the south. That's
yeah. I believe it was Rocket Lab. There was something about Rocket Lab was talking about using possibly Blue Origin's orbiter, that Rocket Lab would deploy like GPS stuff that would then transmit to the orbiter or something. I didn't dive into it too much because honestly, anything at this point from anyone but SpaceX is so far fetched. I mean, Blue Origin, if they can get New Glenn to work, maybe. They've been to orbit once. And did they really actually make orbit, or did they make orbit and the webcast and then explode? What? I didn't say that. But
we didn't leave any astronauts on Mars. Honest. Yeah.
Honestly, would that
Not
be the
yet.
worst thing? Like, the world would unite to try to bring Mark Watney home, and it'd be great. It's fine.
Right.
Just take lots of potatoes and ketchup and salt.
And Vicodin.
Yeah, that too.
I'm all exhausted out, so I'm gonna dip out an hour in, but it's nice seeing everyone, and I'll
Nice seeing you.
see y'all Thursday.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Carrie.
Good night, Gary.
We did
Whenever
get
I
another-
see your smiling face, I has to smile myself.
We did get another thing that arrived for the studio, though. I don't know if I actually showed the other ones, but
Oh, ooh!
from Boom Aerospace, this is their mock-up of their Air Force One that they gave Trump. Not this one, but Trump still has that one.
Okay, I just really don't like the idea of having an airplane with "boom" printed all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hey, boom is better than boing because boing is the sound it makes as it bounces through the field.
Well, the funny thing is, Boom Aerospace is boomless. Like, boomless aerospace would make more sense. They might have to rebrand. But that's their logo. But the other two are behind me and I can't reach them. But this is what they're trying to sell to the White House.
now that's the Mach 3 or something like that, or
full supersonic.
what? That Mach 1.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I think they said they can. Their goal was 2.2, 2.3.
Now, see, that would be worth spending the money on an Air Force One if you can get Air Force One that do faster than Mach 2.
I was gonna say that's the thing is, can you fit everything that's in a Boeing 730 or 47 on this?
No, and it's it's a big 747. It's not even a small one.
It's a maxed out 747. I think this will become like Vice President's plane.
Well, no,
I guess
actually, I can see them doing.
there's a question. If you have two of them, could you just have one that has all the defense stuff and the president's in the other one?
That's because, whenever Air Force One goes somewhere, there's actually a couple of other planes that fly along with it that have like the limousine and the Secret
That's all there
Service
before.
stuff. Yeah. And that's usually on an Air Force C5 Galaxy.
Yeah, and that normally lands.
Well, no, they're
just 12
using
hours.
the 17 now.
Right.
The glow
Depends on,
map.
depends on what all they're taking and where they're going. Because
Yeah.
the 17 can get in at more smaller airports. The C5 has to get to big airports. That's the other problem with the 747 is there are a lot of countries that don't have runways that can support a 747. So if that thing can land on a shorter runway, it may. I know it wouldn't have to be as wide as it is for 747, but
Well, the thing is, where do you
length.
put presidential escape pod in that little narrow
There
thing?
isn't one. We all know that.
Have you not watched Air Force One?
I love Air Force One. That's exactly why I know the
Have
reference.
you not watched Escape from New York? I mean,
No,
come
I have
on.
not.
They always having this presidential escape pod on the thing.
But it's a nice. This is what they're like. They call it Overture, but that's what their default model, which is behind me, looks like. Mach 1.7, you can max it out at 2x over water. And they've got permission to go 1.7 now over all of the continental United States. They've repealed the ban on supersonic flight already. Trump repealed it about 96 hours after he was given the gift of the mock-up of Air Force One from Boom. But 4 hours to London?
That would be comfortable.
You know, I really wanted, when I was stationed in Berlin, I wanted to fly home once on the Concorde.
Yeah.
They call it the time machine because you literally arrive 3 hours before you left.
Now, did Concorde have economy, or was it all?
No, it was all one. There's two seats on it, or two rows, or there are two rows of seats on either side, and a center thing.
What was it economy-esque, or was it all like
It was
business
just
class?
one. You were on the Concorde. That was it.
Okay, I feel like
It
that's
was
what
first
they
class.
also want to
It
do
was
on
first
this.
class all the way to the tail.
Yeah, I think the plan for this is that it's first. I mean, they're showing scallops. This is a mock-up that they gave to United on what it'd be 60,000 feet cruise altitude. That'd be an incredible view.
When I was planning on flying back in the late 80s, it was $1,600 for a seat.
Yep.
60 to 80 passengers. What did Concorde hold?
About that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is really just
version of the
Concorde where the
Concorde.
nose doesn't have to bend and it's a bit faster. But what's insane
now
is they've
we
only
have better
sold
video.
130 of them.
Yeah, we have better video cameras now. So
Yeah.
we don't
They've
have
already
to
sold
bend, we don't have to bend the
130
nose to land.
They've never built one. But they said 2028-ish. They're hoping for the first one to roll off the factory line. They already built the factory. It was done last year. But they
let the cat
they're-
out.
They're now stepping into the actual manufacturing of the first one. So,
And
We'll
when is
see.
the first one supposed to roll out?
2028, 2029, somewhere in there
That's only
for test
that's
flights.
only 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah, they said 4 years was this was their test flight plane.
Right.
It's on display at their HQ. But this is what they proved, that as long as you're high enough up, the supersonic boom doesn't reach the ground. So that's how they got the U.S. to approve supersonic flight basically anywhere in the U.S.
Yeah, but it depends on weather. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But as long as they're high enough up, they won't. They also got NASA to partner with them, that they got a solar transit to see the shock waves coming off of it. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It technically can land at like any airport.
You know, when the supersonic boom, pun intended, was starting back in the 70s, and of course the Concorde won, and Boeing and Lockheed, both their planes, they never went anywhere with it. But everyone in New York, and I think it was Chicago, where it's complaining about the sonic boom coming off of the Concordes, which I think was just,
People
hogwash.
complaining and not actually real.
People trying to get money off the French or something. But
Yeah, that'd be a good trick.
no kidding. But they actually Florida doubled down and actually built an airport in the middle of the Okefenokee swamp.
Yeah, Gator
Yes.
Alcatraz.
Alligator Alcatraz. And they built that airport just for landing supersonic aircraft, because it's in the middle of nowhere, and the only person that was going to complain were alligators. That's so. And then
I hate to be that guy, but the Okefenokee is in Georgia.
I'm sorry. What's the other one?
Everglades?
Yeah, Everglades.
Yeah, it's the one in the Everglades.
I've seen the blueprints. I've seen the what's left of what they built,
Yeah, it's
and
down
yeah,
there.
it's definitely in Florida.
Uh, see, Big.
Trouble with Okefenokee is there's no solid ground to build anything
It's
on.
called Big Cypress Wildlife Management Area. Everglades. It is the Everglades. Okay. All right. But the whole area is called Big Cypress Wildlife Management Area. Let's see. Let me bring that up real quick.
Oh, have y'all seen the videos of that guy that goes in and catches the boas and the pythons out of the Everglades?
Yeah,
Several.
he made me almost not want to move there.
Yeah. He goes up and grabs one and goes, yoink, yoink. He was out in Arizona. And he goes, I don't recommend this, but yoink. Grabs a damn diamondback.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that either.
And he goes, and it wrapped up around his wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's Miami, of course. Over here's Fort Myers. And then they built it out here right above the highway. And they were going to run a high-speed rail or something like that down along the highway to get into Miami. Now, I don't know. That doesn't look, maybe I'm wrong. That doesn't look like that thing's big enough to land a Concorde.
It would be if it was paved all the way out to the end of the dirt.
I was going to say, it looks like they probably just never finished it.
Because I know for a long time, it's a National Guard training area.
I mean, if that could land there, a Concorde should be able to, no?
That's a 747.
Yeah.
That's a 747 shorty. Cargo conversion. And then the National Guard's got all their stuff up here for training and such.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's actually longer than it looks like it is. It's just the scale is off. Not because the photo is wrong, but because we just can't comprehend how much distance it actually takes up.
Let's call and find out.
Why would you put your... Oh, my God.
They have to because it's a National Guard facility. If there's a problem, you have to call that number. See, that's all National Guard fun stuff. Let's see. I guess that could be a fairly large runway, but it doesn't look much longer than the one we have here in Chattanooga. Check on it. See, let me see if I can do this right.
You could probably land the shuttle there. It may have been an alternate shuttle landing site too.
That would make sense why there was that part that wasn't paved. Because you'd be coming in from the left of your picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be mostly slowed down by the time you got to the unpaved part. Or it might have been paved back during shuttle days.
Or it might have been planned to be paved, but everything fell through. Pop. If my neck doesn't quit popping, Dawn is going to slap me next time we're at Helicon. Jealousy is a horrible master.
That thing's only 2 miles long.
That's enough to land shuttle.
That's a long runway.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to a normal airport? That's almost double, isn't it?
They can put a 747 down at Level Field, John.
I mean, look up how long.
Only 2 747s, and they both belong to the president.
Look up how long the runways are at like Hartsfield or something.
Okay, this one's the one in Miami. The long runway is 2.5 miles.
Well, that would make sense for the big ones coming over from Europe, probably though.
Yeah. And
Like
then,
the
well,
A380s and stuff.
let me see here.
Have you ever seen the presidential 747 leave Lovell Field?
Yes.
Yeah, Zach's pretty much got it. And then they
gotta feel weird on board.
Yeah, that was 2 miles long. That's the main runway in Miami International.
What a messy airport.
Well, it's expanded over the years.
It looks like Heathrow, but threw up.
It's exactly like Heathrow threw up. Yeah.
They're trying to expand Heathrow again.
They're trying to expand Miami again.
Why?
Tourism.
Not
Yeah.
that many people go to Miami. They've got like 6 runways already.
try to pull some traffic off of Hartsfield.
That'll be the day. Busiest
yeah.
damn
Well, what the
airport in
hell is
the
up with all this?
world.
Well, you're in Street View mode.
Oh, is that how did I get in Street View mode on a damn?
That's all the street views in North America.
It was showing me every street on the planet. It looked like the Borg had won.
Did y'all hear about the helicopter in LA?
No.
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 A helicopter crashed on Huntington Beach, and it was caught on camera.
I think I did see that actually.
Yeah, nurse survived.
Yeah,
'Cause
somehow
we had
three-
one.
Bystanders lifted it off of her.
yeah,
Yeah,
somehow
the
three
nurse
people
was that
landed
the one in
on.
Huntington Beach? Was the one where the nurse got trapped under the helicopter and all the people jumped out of their cars, ran over and lifted the helicopter up off of her? Was that the one, Zach?
I don't know. This was today. I don't know.
Okay, there's one a few days ago. It was a medical helicopter, and they just dropped off their patient and were heading home.
Yeah, no, this
and
was
crashed on the interstate.
This is
and-
this one.
Okay.
You should be okay sharing this show, dog. It's just on X.
There's a Hartsfield. By the way.
You don't see anything like terrible in it.
Okay, and it winds up in a house, if I remember correctly. Is that Airwolf?
Well, Airwolf was actually
Built on one of those.
its final days was a
Air ambulance.
yeah,
Oops.
and it did exactly that
Ooh.
right there.
Yep, I saw that. I saw pictures. I didn't actually see this video, but I saw it
Yeah,
laying in the house.
There's a couple dash cams 'cause it's right next to the highway, and there's someone that has a beach camera as well. But it looks like its tail rotor either fell off or just stopped becoming effective.
Ow.
That's
Yeah.
what it looked like to me when it went into his fin. That's what happens when you don't have that stabilizing tail rotor.
Yeah,
They
and
just
I saw it fall off on the video. I just don't know what. You could.
Well,
see it
that
kinda
is
like
an older
floating,
helicopter.
and
That
then
is
it-
an older helicopter.
yeah, but somebody could still tighten up the nuts.
Well, it's usually the shaft that breaks.
Oh, there's no telling.
Oh yeah,
probably
the
green
internal.
Drive shaft.
Yeah, you're
All
right. You're right.
Let me see here. Bring this one up for me, Joe. And then tell me if I need to turn sound off.
Starting with some incredible new dash camera video from a driver on Highway 50 just as that medical helicopter was coming down last.
Yeah, we gotta stop at that
I did.
point.
Mm.
No, I turned off the noise.
Yeah, well, still the video.
It's not the noise. It's it was going past the we're gonna get you length of video.
Yeah. The YouTube rules: feed the monster, hit the like button, subscribe.
Okay.
Well, what about the
Okay, bring it back up, Joe. Just for a second. Okay. And that's all these
Wow.
people that got out of their cars, ran over, and picked up a 5,000-pound helicopter. And you can see it on the very right. You can see them up. Well, you can't see it. the paramedics dragging her out from underneath the helicopter.
John, what about the C4 factory?
I was wanting to talk about that, but I didn't want to talk about that because they finally confirmed, what was it? 12 people died or six. No, it wasn't that. They confirmed 2 of the people that were assumed to have died weren't there when it happened. Their cars were, they weren't.
So you got some explaining to do.
Yeah. They were just another part of the plant, but their cars were still parked there.
People says there's no crater. There's no crater. If you look at the before picture,
there's a crater.
There's a crater.
It is.
Thing was, the earth was piled up. The only thing exposed on the factory was the roof
and the loading dock.
Yeah. And when it blew, it leveled the dirt around it. So that was your crater.
The only thing that's there that you can still tell it was a building, there's debris everywhere, but is the loading dock, the loading ramp. That's it. That's the only thing survived. So,
did they say what happened?
Huh?
Have they said what caused it?
Their
theory? Investigation is still ongoing.
And the problem is, there are multiple buildings on the site, and I'm not sure what they did in that building. Okay. They do make RDX for C4 and stuff like that. They do mix it with the plasticizer to make C4. They also make Composition B, which is it's a 60-40 mix of TNT and RDX, which is the chemical that's in C4. It's an improved TNT, basically. TNT is 1 on the reaction scale. Comp B is 1 1/4. C4 is 1 1/3. So trinitrotoluene?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that right?
Correct. Very well. Very good. And RDX, research developed explosive.
Yeah. So basically, what John was talking about is TNT on nitrous.
Kind of. It's boosted TNT, but we don't know what they were. See, the other thing,
it's NASCAR TNT.
They make explosives and they reclimate explosives, which is they take old ordnance, disassemble it, and pull the explosives out, and then remix the explosives into something else. Because all those explosives are designed to be incredibly stable, long life. So if it's been sitting in a missile warhead for 30 years and we're not making those missiles anymore, reuse the TNT on something else. And they'll usually put it into something like blocks of training munition. It's been sitting around for a while, so they won't put it in the A group. They'll put it in the B or the C group. It'll wind up in a Bangalore torpedo or something.
If nothing else, they harvest the nitrates and sell it to farmers.
Something like that. Actually, I don't think you can sell it to farmers after it's been through the cleaning process for explosives. Too much crap. Too much oil, petroleum products and shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we're getting close to time.
Are we?
Yeah. I'll let you close this out because I got to make that run down the hall and hang a left.
Sock puppet then.
All right.
Did you hear about Hurricane or Storm Karen? She'd like to speak to a manager on why she formed.
It's headed straight from Washington, D.C. It wants to see the manager.
No, it's headed straight to the middle of the Atlantic, right where it formed.
Really?
I'd like to speak to a manager on why it didn't get to be a real hurricane when it grew up.
Most of the hurricanes this recent few months.
Yeah, we've had 3 in a row that haven't made landfall and just kept heading back out.
Yeah. 5, and they wind up taking a right at Bermuda, and they're refilling the canals in England, which British people are very happy about because they've been through a drought.
Yeah, I can't remember what the record was, but people were talking about it that it was something. It's been like decades since there was no major hurricane landfall in the continental United States in September or in the first half of October so far.
We're pushing our luck.
And we've got a La Nina in the Pacific just started.
Yeah. Well, and that's what some of the forecasters are saying is like, we're really only getting into hurricane season now. People forget that October, November are normally the worst. Hurricanes normally spike at the end of their season. But because we have not had a major storm reset the Atlantic or the Gulf, both are very much ready to create a very, very bad storm.
Sharknado.
No, I mean we're talking classic. Got to rebuild New Orleans again, sort of hurricane.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one it was. Whether it was Milton when I was down there, or if it was earlier this year. But there was one that they were saying, if there was such thing as Cat 6, it probably would have been approaching what that would have been because it was so high in a Cat 5 rating. I think that was Milton last year. It was so high in a Cat 5 rating. If you took the same stepping stones from 1 to 5, theoretically it should have been well into a 6. But we've never done that. There's a big debate on whether we should roll out higher classifications for storms, tornadoes, but
yes, there have been some F5 tornadoes that probably would have been an F6 if there were such a thing.
Well, I want to say there's 5+ now, is what they record them as if they're really bad.
Well, you got to remember with tornadoes, the scale on that is measured on people on the ground afterwards calculating the destruction caused, not the wind speed or anything else.
It's less. It's more scientific, but it's probably less exact.
When a hurricane gets to be that powerful, it's not going to be exact because it's going to be all over the place.
Yeah.
Hurricane Milton started in the Atlantic, went across Florida, and headed down toward the Yucatan Peninsula, and basically stalled right off the coast of Mexico. And see, that was 5 to 12 October.
It went the other way, John. It started at Mexico and came to Florida because I was in Florida for it.
I must be.
It was supposed to absolutely obliterate Tampa, and they evacuated Tampa, and then it wobbled about 50 miles. The eye was about 50 to 100 miles off the coast. The eye wobbled about 80 miles south. So everywhere they told people in Tampa to go was where actually the eye went. Tampa was empty, and then 50 miles off the coast, the eye wall just died. And it went from a Cat 5 to a Cat 1 in a matter of, I think it was like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Because we were bracing, like we didn't evacuate. We weren't told to. Because when we were down there, we were straight across from Tampa on the other coast.
And then
we
it was
had
a
flood warnings
for a day or two.
Yeah. We had flood warnings. We had standby for evacuation notices for those on the shoreline. So like we were ready to go. But by the time it was that close, there was no point. Like it wasn't going to be a Cat 5 when it got to us. But when it was hitting Tampa, we were getting outer bands. So we technically were getting hit by a Cat. So twice I've now been in a Cat 4 or larger hurricane's outer bands.
Well, stop doing that.
Yeah, well, the first one was in Texas when I was down just north of Starbase like a decade earlier. That one was far more exciting than this. That one felt like a hurricane. This Milton, like, I don't want to say a hurricane's a joke because it's not. We had worse monsoons on a Friday afternoon in Florida than Hurricane Milton in my area. Now, Tampa got hit hard. Other regions did that got hit when it was a 5 and dying. We got the outer bands, but Like it was, I went out, I did the thing you're not supposed to do that they tell you don't do when it's in the eye of the storm. What
Did
do
you
you do?
fire a
run outside
shotgun
and
at
take
the
a picture.
tornado and tell it to go away?
No, I woke up at 5 a.m. and ran outside in the middle of the eye of the storm. But I woke up about 10 minutes later than I should have. So I woke up and ran outside as the eye wall was passing.
And got hit by a hurricane. Yeah.
So legitimately, I'm standing at my front door, and it was as if someone had an industrial fan aimed at my side, and you could feel them turning each dial. So every about 30 seconds, it was another. I was like, okay, we're gonna go inside now. I can't see the stars anymore. But seeing the eye wall in the middle of the night, that was even of a dying category 1. That was. I really liked the movie. Was The Day After Tomorrow, so it was kind of neat to be in the middle of a big storm like that. But yeah, we were lucky. It should have been.
When I was a
doesn't
little
make
kid,
sense. No one
I
knows
was a
why
little
it
kid
died.
living in Biloxi when Hurricane Frederick hit. And I can remember we were looking out we opened a door, and my grandma had a hurricane-proof house. And what this means, all the door entrances were recessed behind the brick walls. Okay. And then the shutter, it had metal shutters and metal awnings over all the windows. And what you could do is you could close the shutters over the windows and then drop the awnings and lock them into place. So we had done all that, and it's a storm just rolling, and we went out and we opened the door and we went outside on the porch. And the reason we did this is the wind sounded kind of funny, and Grandma wanted to see what was going on. So we opened the door, looked out, and the wind is literally shooting right past the house, 90-degree angle, about 50 miles an hour or so. And we look at, and Grandma's house was right on an intersection. There's traffic lights hanging over the intersection. And the traffic lights were literally horizontal instead of hanging down. And all the shields on you know how they have the sun shields over the lights are gone. It's just strip naked lights dancing 90 degrees in the wind. And no electricity. So, everything's kind of spooky as hell. Because the only time you can see anything is when the lightning cracks. Of course, the lightning was constant. It almost wasn't dark at night because of the lightning. So. Oh, Zach, you're muted. Oh,
yeah, I'm yelling upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it reminds me, when the show's done, stay. I want to show you something, but I don't know if I can show it on air. So,
well, let's end the show then and look at what's
Joe Dog. You've seen it, the flame thing.
The flame thing
about it.
Yeah, we'll look at it again.
Yep.
All right. With that, we got to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody. I gotta go to bed. I'm pulling a Kiri here tonight.
All right. So good night. We'll see y'all Thursday. Say bye.
Bye.
Oh, you got to do that again. I forgot.
Yeah.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark, nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.